Well, we've got something to live up to here, haven't we? Because a month or so ago, we sat down to preview the World Darts Championship, and we came up with a couple of good predictions in that.
We look like the Oracle of Benidorm. I think we couldn't do any better if we tried, I don't think. It was brilliant.
And now everyone's going to come thinking we've set the bar, which we have. We've set it very high. Got a lot to live up to. I said Ryan Searle semi-final. For a bit of a run, I'm going for my old pal Ryan Searle. I think he's got a great little section of the draw, and he's always due. So it always feels like something's going to happen for Ryan. I think he has a run at this year's World Championship. You was a big fan of Charlie Manby.
Yes, we thought Manby would do well. You tipped Ryan to do well. We both wanted him to do well, but you tipped that as well. And then we also said Luke Littler couldn't be beaten, and that was the case.
He wasn't. Good. Yeah, far too good all the way through. What did you make of the final?
Same as the final before that. Just can't keep up with Luke Littler when he gets going, to be honest.
It's interesting. We're guys that monitor analytics and we follow data. I certainly do, because I was live streaming, as always, the World Darts Championship final. And normally what happens is it sits around about 1,500 to 2,000 viewers. And as it comes up to the final darts, as we get closer to the end, it spikes. And you go like 5,000, 6,000 plus. What I noticed this year for the first time ever is it dipped. And when the World Championship final dart went in, it was the lowest viewing figures I've ever seen.
That'll be just because it was no contest. It was over when, realistically, when Littler went 3-1 up. You cannot see him losing a big lead since the Luke Humphries final. Since he missed that, was it double two? He wide the double two. Since then, he just doesn't blow big leads, and he comes back from 5-0 down, like we've seen at the match play. I feel Van Veen had to go 2-0 up. He really had to. Just to stand a chance. I think Littler beats people on the board, but he beats them mentally as well. I want to see Luke Littler struggling to come back. I want to see him fighting with himself, because we see him have frustration. We see him annoyed. We see him annoyed with the crowd even as well. I want to see how far he can come back from. I want to see someone go 2 sets, 1 leg up when a race to 3. And I still think you can do it. I don't think at no point do I think he's beaten. And I don't want him to lose. I absolutely love Luke Littler. But I want to see him under a maximum amount of pressure, because it's entertaining.
Do you know what? We've heard these sort of conversations before. That you draw the comparison. There's only one comparison.
Yeah.
Phil Taylor.
Yeah. Maybe Michael van Gerwen.
A peak, absolutely.
Yeah.
But do you draw a comparison on Phil Taylor and Luke Littler? Because naturally, people are going to compare. Where is that comparison for you?
It's there. The game is there, same as it was with Michael van Gerwen. The only question mark that you have is the longevity.
Do you draw that comparison on the fact of achievement, or do you draw that on performance? Because we've had back-to-back world champions before, Gary Anderson, Adrian Lewis.
Yeah. For me, to compare him to Phil Taylor, it's got to be, what are they winning, how are they winning, and how long they do it for. Because anyone can win a tournament. You can go on a good run. We see some of the not best players win tournaments, and that happens, and they may not go on to win another one. But like I say, Luke Littler, he won that Grand Slam, that major, and he's won most of them since, hasn't he? So, yeah, not many off days.
So moving forward to the Premier League, and we'll get to predictions in a moment to see if we think Luke Littler's going to do it again. Is he beatable? Let's first talk about the lineup, because the lineup wasn't set in stone. For one of better phrases here, we had a shortlist of players that could potentially be in. And regardless of the 8 players that were selected, I feel here it was going to be wrong in the eyes of the general viewing public. Not everyone's going to agree on who should have been in.
100%. And I think a lot of people, misconceive it, because it's not the best 8 players. If it was, they would pick 1 to 8. It's the top 4 best players, and then 4 wildcards. And the PDC will use different players, certain players with maybe a bigger fan base or better entertainment value. And maybe people that think, what this guy could do with the Premier League, or he maybe deserves the Premier League. And they just look at all different factors, and you're never going to please everybody. And I see the arguments, for instance, we're going to talk about Danny Noppert. On paper, he probably deserves to be in there. Stephen Bunting, he's not had a bad year. The problem with what people are thinking with Stephen Bunting is his Premier League performance last year, and what his second half of the year. Because if you swap that year in half round to the first half and second half, people will be saying Stephen Bunting should be in because it's got all recency bias. He's won quite a few tournaments, not majors, really, this year, but he's won, Stephen Bunting. And he did even win a Premier League night. Apart from that, it was pretty poor. Well, the results were poor. The performances weren't that bad.
So with that in mind, off my shortlist, there's one guy that really comes to the top of my mind. UK Open finalist, World Match Play finalist, which is the second biggest ranking tournament in the world of darts. All happened in the start of the year for James Wade. If you flip that around, James Wade's a certainty.
I do agree with you because, like I say, match play as well. And the defeats, I think, in the finals, most of them were to Luke Littler. So when you put it like that, you're like, how's he been left out? But he answered it himself. You know, his face doesn't fit. And he's been proved right.
I suppose, in a way, you've put the category in there as well, haven't you? You said it's not just a talent contest. There's other things that go into this. Now, I actually find James Wade very entertaining. Mostly because I love his interviews afterwards. And I would love 16 weeks of James Wade interviews.
I wonder if they think he may bring negativity in terms of what he might say or how he might react. They may be worried about that.
Ryan Searle, was he ever in the conversation for you? I'd love it if he was in.
Yes, but we're big fans of Ryan Searle. I think it would probably be a year too soon for him if he's ever going to get in, just because we know how much of a family man he is. You know, he probably wouldn't want to be in the Premier League.
He wants to be in once. So we've had that conversation. And he said he wants to do it once so he knows what it's like. But he doesn't want to be like a regular in there. And maybe, like you say, he didn't really have the greatest of 2025s. He had a great ending. And maybe that should be, this is the start of my Premier League journey. Because now the Premier League conversation is around Ryan Searle, where it never has been before.
He'll have a lot more fans, a lot more media attention, more money to play for next year. Big opportunities for Ryan Searle. And I do hope he goes on to be a Premier League player because he's so entertaining to watch. Fantastic walk-on, fantastic character, very likeable, 32-gram darts. His eye problem as well. You know, it's a story we can all get behind.
Nathan Aspinall
didn't do enough, unfortunately. Very good player. Fantastic comeback, because we were sat here a year ago and I think I maybe tipped him to come last. Didn't expect him to do very well. I thought he was in a bad place and I could see him plummeting the rankings. He turned it round, and fantastic, fair play to him. He's worked with all these people. He's worked on his health, worked on his fitness, and his game has improved massively. And he looks a lot better as well. I
would have probably liked to have seen Aspinall in there for every reason you've just said. Because there's a lot that is sort of thrown on people when they're on the upwards curve. But very rarely in sport do we see someone bounce back the way Nathan Aspinall did. And to come back better. And to get that Players' Championship final as well.
Obviously, this is not going to be a thing, but if you chucked Asp into there, I don't think he'd come last.
No.
So, but like I say, it's not on... An Aspinall, he would fit in there with that. It's not on the best 8, but he'd be pushing for the top 4, to be honest.
Well, I was working media the day the Premier League lineup came out, and the decision was made very, very late in regards to Stephen Bunting being in there, and it wasn't between Stephen Bunting and Nathan Aspinall.
Really? Who was it between? You know?
I do know, I do.
Can't say.
I do know. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I'll tell you later. But it wasn't Nathan Aspinall, which tells you he wasn't in the top 9 consideration. Where we follow socials, everyone's like, Bunting's took it off Aspinall, Bunting's robbed Aspinall, you know, for the ones that are negative about it.
I'd seen it more towards Noppert. But then there's Gary Anderson. Do you think he would have accepted? I think he would, even though he says he wouldn't.
I think he wouldn't.
Right.
But
is that just in case you joined and then checked out a 170?
170, yeah. Didn't want that again, did he? Once is enough, especially for me, anyway. But in regards to it, there was a circumstance of which he would have played. There was a circumstance. There was something on the table where he says, "I would play if that was the case." Now, one of the things that I know would get Gary to play is if it wasn't every single week. That would be for sure, and we'll get to that in a moment when we talk about the format and the changes and possibilities, because there's so many debates and things you can have with the Premier League. But there's one more name on my shortlist. Was Beau Greaves ever in the conversation for you, or did it all depend on the Worlds?
No, 100%. I think even if she'd made the semi-final, I'd be saying, no, thank you. I'd give her a bit more time. I think she needs it. She's still very young. You know, she's only just entering the men's game full time. I think give her some time, and do not put that pressure on her too early. To be honest, for me personally, I think let's see her develop naturally. She's already going to have the pressures with being female. You know, she's going to get far more media attention than she would just any ordinary player of her talent. So yeah, not for me.
If Beau Greaves was sat there right now, she would say exactly the same. Yeah. I've spoke to Beau about things like this, about her development. I spoke to her management team about things. I think Beau Greaves has managed it perfectly in the fact that she's done it at her own pace, at her own style, and with that we're going to get a better finished product when we get to the end of the road. So many times you see players rush to the top. I don't want to pick too many names out, shall we say, but when we look at the likes of Owen Bates, sorry Owen, I'm sorry, it's the first name that came to mind.
The master.
Somebody who was playing well on the Super Series, doing well on the secondary tours, got the card, but did that card come too soon that it actually set them back?
Potentially, yeah. I hope that doesn't happen with Charlie Manby, because he's getting, again, a lot of media. The media now is going to be all over young players for the next Luke Littler.
Yes. And
we're going to hear everyone name that, like Leighton Bennett with the next Phil Taylor. And it'll be a big burden for a lot of players, especially players you sometimes don't really realise with dart players that they're not media trained, they're not necessarily professionals, and then you become a professional dart player, and you don't overnight turn into a professional person.
Professional influence as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when you look at other sports, there's a role model or an influence around them, either in a coaching capacity, someone who's going to guide them. Darts isn't that. Darts, traditionally, until recently, when we started getting academies for the JDC, was Dave down the pub, gave you a set of darts, and he was your guide, because he's done it for 30 years.
Yeah. Well, even at the top now, Luke Littler puts an Instagram story on, then next 5 minutes later, it's all over the news, online. It's like, and that's at the top.
So that's our shortlist.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the format, because there's obviously criticism around the format. Is it boring? Does it get stale?
Yes.
Do they like the knockout format? People saying it should go to 10 players and go back to a league. I've got some adjustments and things I'd like to make myself. You're sat there with Barry Earn right now. He says, Charlie, I want one change. What are we going to do with the Premier League?
I would make it into at least two-tier system where there would be like Premier League and then a second league, Championship in football terms, and I wouldn't have it as a tournament. Have it as 10 in each, maybe. So, and you have like some kind of relegation, some kind of promotion.
How would you watch that? Would that be PDC TV, or would that actually be on the broadcast?
I'd have it on the broadcast. I really would. Even if they had it as a two-night thing, there'd be players like who would scrape into the Championship and they might do really well. And like, bloody hell, ranked number 15 is getting close to being in the Premier League, and seeing them rise up, I think, would be really good.
Well, I knew this was a question like a B League, Premier League, or a Championship, so I've got my list already wrote out here. And essentially, that's where you put a player like a Beau Greaves, a Ryan Searle, someone who's looking to develop. I like it, but I would do this very much Pro Tour style,
right? Okay.
Behind closed doors, PDC TV, in the afternoon before a Premier League. So you don't need to book the extra arena, you don't need the extra broadcast, you don't need all those bits. I've got my list here. I'm going to run it by you, and then it'll give you a chance to sort of see if you agree, disagree, or if you'd change them. Danny Noppert.
Yeah.
James Wade.
Yeah.
Nathan Aspinall.
Yeah.
Ryan Searle.
Yeah.
Martin Schindler.
No.
Yeah, to see this, I thought this one might be a debate. Now, how I came up with Martin Schindler was two reasons. We know Premier League selected on different things. German #1, Germany, a massive selection in darts. But also, I looked at the ranking list for prize money earned in 2025, and I went for the highest player that I didn't already have selected, which was Martin Schindler.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's where it came. Chris Dobie?
Yeah.
Gary Anderson, if he'd say yes.
Yes.
And Vessel Nyman?
No.
So we're taking out Schindler and Vessel. Who are we replacing?
Stephen Bunting. So
Okay.
I know we'll get onto it, but I wouldn't have him in the Premier League this time. Okay. Who else would I put in there? Mervyn King.
Oh, good selection, yes.
No, I'm really pleased that Merv's got his card back, to be honest. I'm really happy about that.
See his interview?
Yes, yeah. I've met Merv a few times, and he's always been really polite, really helpful, and pleased to speak to you. And really nice guy.
The opposite of what people think.
Yes, he's just a bit angry looking, maybe.
People get lost in what they see because he's competing at that time. He's not meant to be smiling.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, big up Merv, I'm glad you got your card.
My change is a little bit samey in regards to the format. We'll keep the format as it is for now.
Yeah.
But one thing I would like to see is the player who finishes bottom is not allowed to play the year after.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you go and do. You're out with next year. You're relegated.
Yeah.
And I think with that, we get quite an interesting dynamic as well. So, yes, you get that situation where you may go win everything else, but if Man City finish in the bottom 3, it doesn't matter if they're in the Champions League, the FA Cup, it doesn't matter what happens, they're in the Championship. They don't go, but we're the Champions League winners. You got relegated, lads. And I would like to see that.
Same kind of rules then. Do you think there should be certain tournaments that you would win, or a new tournament that would get you a place in the Premier League? For instance, so we're talking like European, if you won a certain trophy, that gets you into Europe automatically, even if you're ranked 17, or do you think that would just be...
I think the problem is we've never known, and there is no criteria.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
And where that is, there will always be debate.
Well, even the name, wildcards. So it kind of does what it says. But yeah, it's us at home when we're trying to predict and say this person deserves it, we don't really have a chance.
So my B Premier League here, how would you feel if we made that a qualifier?
Yeah.
For that last spot? And obviously you'd take Nyman out and put Bunting in, for example.
Yeah.
And
perfect.
have a qualifier.
Perfect, yeah.
Night 1 of the Premier League is who's going to play the rest of the season.
That actually would be really good, yeah. Yeah. I really like that.
Especially coming off the back of things like Q School, where numbers for Q School was bigger than the World Championship final on socials for me.
Yeah. People are really interested in it. I watched quite a lot of it, to be honest. I really enjoyed that. It was good. Good work.
Okay, so we're going to put ourselves to the test again here, and we've got a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
Because we nailed the World Championship. Not to keep pointing it out, but we did.
Yeah,
and we like to blow our own horn around here. I've got the 8 Premier League players.
Yeah.
We're going to try and predict the finishing position that they're going to have in the league table.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with Stephen Bunting.
I think we'll probably be both in agreement, and it's nothing against Stephen, but for me, it's 8th.
I agree. And I agree with that based on the start that Stephen... If Stephen starts well, I think he'll do well. We've seen Stephen get emotional. We've seen Stephen struggle at times to keep things in check. And I think with the campaign he had last time, I think if he starts poorly, panic's going to set in.
I do, yeah. And the pressure. And not only that, unfortunately, there seems to have been a bit of an online turn, and he's been getting a barrage of abuse. Really, that it's not needed, and he's not done. It's not like he's come out and he's done anything wrong. He said he called himself the people's champion. It's not that bad. Yeah. He's not. It's not a criminal offence. And yeah, he's got far much more abuse than he should have received, and it will weigh on him. It will be affecting him at some point. Will it affect his darts? Hopefully not, because we all want to see dart players play their best darts, and he's a brilliant dart player.
I think it'll affect him as well, the fact that he probably feels that people don't want him in there.
Yeah, 100%. And I even feel bad saying it, but a few nights we see his son go, and his son started to get some hate online, and feel like he feels like he can't take his son to the darts or whatever. Maybe you don't know what people will be thinking, because they'll want to keep him out the firing line. It's probably a difficult one. He needs to go out and do well on that first night, like you said. He needs to start well.
I think you're right, and I think he will recognise that as well.
Yeah, I hope he does well. Like I said, last year we sat here and I backed Asp to come last. It's difficult. We don't want anyone to come last, but he went on to do really well. So hopefully that happens again with Stephen.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. The casuals and darts don't know. I remember doing interviews at the Premier League.
Yeah.
And we had to give the answers to some of the people that was turning up because they couldn't answer the questions.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I expect a lot of people aren't going to know what darts even is. But yeah, let's go with Josh Rock.
Josh Rock. I think he's going to do quite well, Josh Rock, and I'm going to put him in 5th.
5th. Okay, so you've not got him making the finals. I have.
See, it was very close for me. It was very, very close. I think he's more than capable of it. But I think Gerwyn Price sneaks in there.
Going with experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Josh Rock, for me, one of the big power scorers. I've coined this phrase right now that I think darts is going to enter a stage of what I'm naming the big four.
Yeah.
And I think the big four is Littler, Humphries, Van Veen and Josh Rock. So with that in mind, I've got to put Josh Rock in the four.
Yeah, fair enough. No problem. Again, though, like last year, we didn't really think much of Gerwyn Price. And he did so well. So won the most nights, I think.
Well, the next name on my list is Gerwyn Price, which I'm guessing you're going to have 4 or 3?
3.
3, so comfortable, yeah.
Yeah. He gets the job done. He's not fighting the crowds anymore. That was again similar to Stephen Bunting. I know Bunting's not fighting the crowds at the minute, but it's battling, isn't it, with different kind of things, and Price isn't doing that.
I've got him just missing out. I'm going to go him just missing out to Josh Rock. Going to be a close one.
Okay.
Jonny Clayton.
Jonny Clayton. I need to try and work out this list then. I might have to end up bumping. Oh no, you know what? I'm going to go for 6th for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go 6, but then I thought I was being controversial. So if you're going to go controversial, I'm going to go 7. I'll let you explain the controversy.
I don't think there's any controversy. I think, Bunting just below.
Because if you're going 6 down, I'm assuming you go Michael van Gerwen in 7.
Yeah. He's got a lot of problems off the hockey, as we know. He nearly got beat by Tatsunami. And I love Tatsunami, by the way.
How did he not hit the deck, by the way? It looks like...
I know. The best walk-on I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I watch it back every couple of days, and it was the best. I hope we see Tatsunami again. I didn't know who he was until they introduced him. And he just had the whole palace rocking. The best ever.
I've watched that walk-on many times, and every time I watch it, I keep thinking he's going to fall over.
Yeah.
I think he's going down.
It was class.
Great spatial awareness.
Yes, brilliant.
So on the other way around.
I feel MVG is just going to struggle, not have the game. Everyone thinks Van Gerwen's back after he has a good game.
Yeah.
And then he follows it up with a stinker.
And then everyone thinks he's finished.
Yeah.
Fickle.
Yeah.
Fickle.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I've got Michael in 7th. He missed out on the top 4 last year for the first time in ages, I think it was. So it's not like he's got the determination. I can just see him losing quite a lot of first-round games. There's a lot of lists on there that I think he could lose to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's going to have to play Littler in the first round, Humphries in the first round, Van Veen, Rock in the first round.
Yeah, I can't see... I hope I'm wrong, because I want to see a brilliant Michael van Gerwen. We all do, but I just don't think it's there.
3 for Van Veen for me. I think he's the only guy who can beat the Lukes. He's the only guy who can beat the Lukes consistently. Yes, the others can get a win against the Lukes, but Van Veen's proven time and time again that he can get multiple, certainly against Humphries.
Yes, I have him in 4th, and I'll be honest, I am not a Van Veen hater. I didn't think he'd be able to do what he did at the World Darts Championship.
Yes, I saw in the comment section someone had
just based on that we'd not seen him do that well. Yes, he's just won a major, but winning one, Richie Headhouse won the European Championship. People do that. We'd not seen him do too well all the time. He went to the Worlds and he did well every game, barring. I'm not even going to mention the final. It's a different kettle of fish, but he did fantastic. And I think he is heading into the player that a lot of people believed in him. I didn't believe in him, but yeah. I've got him for 4th, so that is a bit of belief. I'm not a Van Veen hater.
Do you know what? I'm going to mention the final briefly, and just reel back to the World Championships, because I have a theory on this, and I'm interested to know your theory as well.
Yeah.
I think if that final was played on Sunday, not the Saturday, so there was a day's rest to get over this quarterfinal, semi-final, to absorb what's just happened to him, to process what's just happened, and to have opportunity to... Because the media commitments are massive on World Championship final day as well. Would he have benefited from that Saturday and just have that time to process to get ready for the Sunday? I think it'd been... I don't think it'd have won, but I think it'd been a lot closer game had Van Veen had that day off and the final been the Sunday. We're never going to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I actually did think it was the Sunday, and I booked the cinema for the Saturday night, and I ended up having to cancel it.
Did you get money back?
I don't think we did, actually. No.
Oh,
I know.
Terrible.
Missed out on Sydney Sweeney. That's a shame. But anyway, yeah.
Luke's, Littler Humphries 1-2.
Yeah.
That order?
Yeah, definitely. You can't look past Luke Littler, can you, to be honest?
You're very brave if you do.
Yeah.
I think if you do, you're just trying to be different.
Yeah.
Because nothing stands out as a reason to go against him.
No. The only thing you've got with the Premier League is you think, yes, he's going to absolutely smash the league phase, and then it just goes down to one night on the final. So, things can change. Fourth place could win. Someone sneak in on the last night to the top four and then do it on finals night. But you don't even look past him on finals night, do you?
Oh, no. And with that in mind, there's one more question that we've got at the bottom here. Who wins the Premier League 2026? I get the feeling we're both going to be quite boring in our assessment here.
Yeah, Luke Littler.
Now, when I asked you that at the World Championship preview, you went and you looked at the camera, I believe, if I remember right.
Yeah.
That bit may not be right, but you said this bit, which is definitely right. Luke Littler, easy.
Yeah, Luke Littler. I said he couldn't be beat. And no one really came that close. In this, I think there's more chance of him losing this than there is the World Darts Championship.
Yeah.
To be honest. I think he'll easily get into the top four, probably easily win the league phase. But like I said, the finals night, I think I always feel there's a bit of jeopardy with finals like the Premier League. But he lost to Luke. Yes, he did lose to Luke Humphries last year. And I think that will fire him up.
Okay, 16 league nights.
Yep.
How many titles is Luke Littler taking in the weekly phase?
5.
Oh, I thought it'd be more.
No.
I'm thinking at least 7.
Yeah, I think at least 7. Fair enough. Yeah.
That's still under half.
Yeah. Is there a player in there that you don't see winning a night? Because Bunting won one last year. Price won a few. Obviously, Rock's never won one.
I see 2 not.
Okay, hit me. I don't see MVG winning one.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Jonny Clayton. I think Jonny Clayton's game's all around consistency. If you think where Jonny Clayton is, he always plays to his ranking. Jonny Clayton, as the world number 5, should be making the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And he does. He doesn't get in the top 4, shouldn't be making this. And Jonny Clayton, when you look at it, it is a figure of consistency.
Yeah.
You don't expect Jonny Clayton to go up there and just walk a tournament, but you expect to see him at the latter stages.
I could see him winning a night, Johnny, just based on him hitting a bit of form at the right time and kind of having, I don't know, maybe beating someone like Humphries or Littler in the first round and then just kicking on that night, to be honest. Hopefully. I don't think Bunting will win one this year. I think Josh Rock will. I think Price will. Clayton and MVG, no. Veen, not sure. Probably. Luke Humphries and Littler, yes.
Who wins night 1?
Who wins night 1? Ooh. I don't know, but I'm going to say I hope Josh Rock wins.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Stephen Bunting. Just because we want to see it close. We want to see it. We don't want to see Luke and Luke every week in the final. So I want it really close. People knocking Littler out, Humphries out first round here, there, and everywhere. So we get different matches week in, week out. Because like I say, if we get to week 4 and we've seen Littler and Humphries in the final 2 or 3 times, no one's going to be watching halfway through.
Yeah, it can kill it quick. We saw that with the World Championship. We saw that with the final, with the viewing figures and everything in regards to that. So that, guys, is our prediction. Let us know what you are thinking throughout the Premier League. Who's taking the title? Is the Premier League correct? Are the right players in? Would you have had it any different? Are you bored of the format? Let us know down below.